and I'm turning on the broadcasting now to close more escrows using your dead leads. I will give you a few minutes to jump on and settle in, get yourself seated. I will try and make this as easy, as fast as possible, because I know that some of you have some other items to attend to. And if you are on the call, I want to say thank you for being on this webinar. Thank you for sharing your time and how you can grow your business. I'm going to dive into a lot of topics today that are going to settle in, so raise some eyebrows and make sure you're looking at the right areas. As we're at the beginning of September, right, we're gearing into fall, the end of the month. So right now it's a time to separate ourselves and to really establish the work that we're doing, because it's going to set the tone for the rest of the year. So it's very important that you guys are settled in, that you have a strategy and a marketing piece in place, and we want to make sure that you guys are ready, right? Ready for what's going to happen. A lot has happened in the media if you haven't looked at it so far, with the stock market and rates, which I'll be covering as well. So again, I want to say thank you for those that are attending, and then I will start the broadcast here in a few minutes. Just giving a few others to settle in. I will have time to answer some questions at the end of the webinar, so make sure that you're sticking around to make sure that I get those questions answered. And please hold them to the end so I can give you the most content that I can right now until it's time to get those questions asked. So again, it's just about time to get started, and I want to make sure that you have enough time to get yourself settled in for the broadcast. There is going to be a spot for questions. It's going to be in the chat area, so if you do so, you can chat with me afterwards. There will be some time for you guys to be able to ask those questions, so make sure you're getting yourself settled in, and I will give you a few more minutes. I don't have any background music for you guys, but I want to make sure that you guys are getting settled in. All right, so we have the chat. Let me know where your city you're from, or what affiliation, whether you're with Keller Williams, Remax, anyone else that other affiliations. Some of you have your own brokerages, that you're independent. I'd love to hear where some of you are from. So, all right, it's already 11 a.m. We're starting the broadcast, and I want to say thank you for those that are here, and want to take some time so we can dive into this presentation. And let's get started. I'm going to start the presentation from, let's see our screen, and I'm going to start the broadcast. Perfect. Hello, Credit Nation. My name is Rafael Arce. I'm the founder for Credit on Fire, a show on iTunes. And I want to share some information with you that has worked for the past 8 years now in your industry, real estate, and how a lot of realtors, mortgage brokers, and loan officers have been able to process loans with their dead leads. So I want to go and dive in a little bit more how we do that, how we can set up a strategy plan for you, and we're going to get diving into it right now. So this is my proven system that I'm revealing to you. Let's get it started. All right, so first off, it's the current market of the real estate right now, right? Real estate market right now, if you aren't paying attention to the news, which I usually don't watch, but I usually get snippets of what's going on in the area, because everything that's around us affects us every single day. So if you're not aware of Black Monday, it happened just last month, where the stock market plummeted, right, on Monday. And what that does is it sets a lot of the financial markets around the world offset, because the value of the dollar, the value of their currency is going down. So we are the ones that give value to currency. So even though there's $100 or 100, the number 100 on the $100 bill, we give that value to it, right? There's so many other areas in like gold. Gold holds its value because gold is going to weigh its quantity. So going back into what happened on Black Monday, there's going to be some financial offsets, which goes into the Federal Reserve and why they're going to increase rates to recover some of the slowing economy of why some of the events happen into Black Monday. And it doesn't mean that this won't happen again, because right now we're going into September. Historically, it has been some of the slower markets when everything happens. And the home prices are increasing in Southern California, making it harder for consumers to enter the buying market. What that means is that now the home prices are a lot more. I mean, even when I purchased 5 years ago, my home value has increased through the roof. So have a lot of others where now they're purchasing a home that's now valued more than $100,000 of when they first bought it. And what's going to happen is that it's slowly climbing to the point where it's just going to get out of hand, right? You're paying $400,000 for a 2-3 bedroom townhome. It's not even something that can be livable. It's because the wages aren't keeping up versus the cost of living. It's going to make it a little bit tougher for those of you in the real estate market. And that's why now it's the time to start a marketing plan for the rest of the year for your real estate business. So I want to share the strategy and how we do that with your current market. All right, so Proven Systems. Who am I? I'm Rafael Arce. I'm on the board of directors with the Vista Chamber of Commerce. I'm the founder of the credit show featured on iTunes called Credit on Fire. And then also I've been in the credit and debt business for the past 8 years. So I review tons of credit reports, study different credit laws, and by the way, consumer credit has to do a lot with consumer laws. So if you're asking, how does it work? There's no magic pill. There's no magic wand. It's consumer laws. So you just got to know the laws. We're not attorneys, but we do study the law thoroughly. And we're also responsible for hundreds of thousands in real estate commissions over the last 8 years. And I'll talk a little bit more of how that works, of why we've been able to put hundreds of thousands into some of you, the agents or the loan officers, because there's a lot of people that get paid in that transaction. And it all starts with your dead leads. And then lastly, of course, I got to share a little bit of something about myself. I'm a father to a 12-pound spoiled terrier named DiMaggio Arce. He's a small little dog, and we spend a lot of time together. If you followed us on Instagram, on Periscope, we did a Periscope recently answering some of your credit questions. So that's a little bit more about me without going too deep into it, and let's get started. All right, so how do we interact with your clients? Your perfect avatar, it's not like the movie. Your avatar is a perfect client that you want to have in front of you. So what books do they read? How old are they? Are they male? Are they female? Where do they work? Are they married? Is there an annual income? And then what shows do they watch? And then why do you care about all this information? Well, a lot of times you've probably been in a position, if you're a seasoned realtor, and if you haven't been a realtor for the last 6 months, if you've been in the industry for years, you've probably already come across your nightmare clients, right? So if you've already come across your nightmare clients, it's not a laughing matter. It's definitely one of the headaches, but you can prevent that. As a real estate agent or as a broker or loan officer, you can choose who you do business with, right? But a lot of times you don't attract them because you don't know where they work. You don't know where they hang out. You don't know if it's a male or female. You don't know if they're married or unmarried. You got to know these questions because they matter. So how do we put this all together? Well, we got to create your ideal client avatar profile. So what does that mean? Sit down, turn off your phone, turn off all the distractions, and write out a description in detail, being as specific as possible with your ideal client, right? So specific as possible is, male or female, or male and female between ages of, or a married couple between the ages of this and this, 2 kids, and they, they're working family, and they have You know, they like to be outdoors a lot, so they got to have a big backyard. You know, really put them in detail. What do they do? What do they read? What is it they do? Because you want to put yourself in that position. It'll be easier for you to market to those clients if you know where they're always at. So for example, if you know that your avatar is a golfer, then you probably want to start advertising yourself in some of the golf tournaments or some of the golf courses, because that's where your avatar hangs out. And when you spend time on this, you stop speaking to the masses and then you start attracting your ideal clients. So instead of doing like the shotgun marketing effect, you know, really zero in on your ideal client. You will start, separating really overnight the nightmare clients from your dream clients. So imagine working with your ideal clients every single day. And that's really what it comes down to when dealing with your profile. So you're going through so many leads. I'm giving you some really the pieces to the puzzle on how to create your ideal client, right? These are leads that you're going through. And then just imagine only working with those clients every single day that follow your rules and stay on course until closing. That would be great, right? Most of them would not have to disobey any rules or go shopping and mess up the loan or do something crazy, which usually can't happen. But you know, in a perfect world, we would find the perfect home, and there would be the perfect closing where your lender can close on time, right? That's the big thing, if your lender can close on time. All right, so let's move on. Let's get started to your dead leads. So your dead leads is what we're going to get started with. How do we do this? With your dead leads, you need to acknowledge a couple things. How do you process those leads, right? When you get a lead, you got to make sure there's three things, at least those three things. And that's 2 years of tax returns that they got to have to get pre-qualified. The average FICO score has to be about 640, depending if you're a lender, if you're listening in. We've seen lenders approve individuals as low as 580. So that's just an average, right? So it just depends on, each lender is different and each guidelines are different. But these are just some of the aspects that some of the lenders are looking into. And then there's got to be a 2-year employment history. So those are the big items, right? There's some logistical things on there. But a lot of times the taxes are done, and a lot of times they're employed for the 2 years. But what happens with the FICO score, right? That is something that, you know, only the client can control. Well, that's a little, you know, misleading, because there's a few options that you can give them. It's, if they're missing one of these three, how do you revive your dead leads? Now, reviving your dead leads, it takes the missing puzzle, right? Because what if they're missing one of the three requirements and you can't process that? And 95% of the time, it's due to the low credit score. And I know this because I've been doing this for 8 years. I'm telling you this from experience. I didn't read this online. It's just that I do this every single day. Now, for the past due debt on their credit reports for years, there's a lot of past due debt that they don't know what to do, right, and how to handle that. There's incorrect data, unverifiable data, and outdated information. So what does that mean to you? You're a real estate professional. How do you turn into a credit expert and fix all this? Well, you really can't, right? You do two things. What is it that you do with your leads? You either tell them that they're declined to come back when their credit is better, or B, you tell them that you have a solution and you can potentially put them in their dream home. I mean, which one really sounds better? I mean, put yourself in their shoes. You know, they're working hard, they have a family, and they just want more space for them to grow. And, you know, because of that, you know, we hear a lot of realtors on social media, besides all the selfies that they post of, I don't really know what they're selling, because a lot of times they're, you know, way overdressed, flashing their watches or flashing their stiletto shoes. But really, for those that are really out there helping those consumers get into their dream home, right? A lot of realtors now are saying that they're putting clients into their dream home. Well, how do you do that? By just turning them away? You know, at the same time, I was at a conference speaking, and realtors were telling me that they would just tell the client to literally go kick rocks. You're not, you're not qualified, so I can't really spend my time to help you. Well, that's not really getting them into the dream home, right? So we got to take that "you're denied" mentality out of here and really turn those dead leads around. So how do we do that? Well, we do that by a lot of different ways. We got to make sure that we're educating them correctly and giving them the steps, giving them the solution that they need. not something that you can turn away because you're not going to make a commission out of it. And in fact, how do you set up a system like that, right? And that's what I'm going to share with you. I'm going to put all the pieces back together and show you a proven system that really, you don't really have to lift a finger. It's all in your sales process and how you do it. All right, guys, let's dive into the real numbers. All right, so we got to do the math here, right? Because I'm talking to you about dead leads and closings, and you're like, yeah. What does that mean for me? Well, the median home value in San Diego County is about $494,000 according to Zillow in 2014. Now, that was a year ago, so it's probably in the high, in the mid 500,000s now, especially the way the market has been growing. Now, at 400,000, which is what you would get it for a 3-bedroom house nowadays, at 2.5% commission. Hopefully, you guys are being fair enough, charging your clients commission prices. Let's say a fair price is 2.5%. Not saying that you're double ending, which could be a little bit more, but your commission on that would be $10,000, right? So how many $10,000 checks are you sitting on right now? How many unqualified clients do you have right now that you're sitting on? Now I'm not making these numbers up because we've been in this industry for 8 years. So some of the numbers that we get is that we get at least 7 orphan. Oh, there's a typo. Hopefully you guys didn't catch that. We get 7 orphan leads a month from realtors that ignore them because they have bad credit. They do. You guys are out there. You guys exist, right? The ones that just ignore the clients. And 7 leads a month. Now that doesn't seem like a whole lot, but you times that times 12, that's 84 potential clients that are pre-qualified to buy. And if they're buying at the average 400,000 at 2.5%, that's $800,000 in commissions. So now do you see for the last 8 years how we've been able to put hundreds and thousands of dollars of commission into your pockets, right? The numbers don't lie. We do the math. So why am I telling you this? Because we're going into a market where you can't afford to leave leave that on the table. You're leaving so much money on the table by just ignoring them and not having a system. And the system is that you don't necessarily have to do all the work. So how does this work? Well, we're only focused on getting results, right? We got to pre-screen every client we get, right? So if we're going to repair their credit so you guys can help them afterwards, you got to pre-screen them, every single one of them. And the great news is when you have a system, you got to make sure it works, right? So what do? The client only pays us after we deliver the results, after they get their deletions. It's kind of like you, right? If you don't do the full closing, you don't get paid. Well, it's the same. We believe it's the same way. Same thing with lenders. They give the client the work first, right? They perform the work and then they get compensated. We work the exact same way. So what does that mean to you? That means you can set up a system where you will have happy clients and not a nightmare client that will claim that they're paying for a service they didn't receive. So when we're all aligned together, when we're all compensated together for the same purpose of helping the client get into the home, that's when we're all going to succeed. We use advanced tactics to get these items removed. So you're saying, how are you so confident in your work that you're only charging after you get the work completed? Well, because we use some advanced tactics. We've been in the industry for 8 years. So how do we do it? There's no magic pill or there's no magic wand. We just contact the original creditor, the collection agency, and the bureau. We got to do it all at once, right? So I'm giving you everything that we do all in one. All right, so how do we qualify clients? Well, we got to obtain, we got to audit, and we got to get a copy of their credit report, right? It's got to be the latest one, because if you're just getting a report that's old, then we really can't base anything off of that. Once we review the credit report, and when you talk to the client about the negative items, we then create a good faith estimate, very similar to what lenders use, to determine the potential cost of the service when the clients get the results removed. So the client knows exactly what we're working on and the potential cost of it if we get it removed. Now, it doesn't mean that's the actual cost. It just means it's an estimate based on the items that are on there. It's a pretty fair enough service that has definitely worked for many of your peers in the real estate industry. Now, going into the good faith estimate, each good faith estimate is unique to every client's credit report. So we get this question, how much does it cost? Yeah, but how much does it cost? Well, we got to look at your credit report. It's, one person's not going to pay you the same as the other. So there's no physical cost to each client. There's a set price per item, but there's definitely a separate cost to each client. The cost of the service is based per item and per bureau. If it's not reporting on the bureau, we don't include it in the estimate. So a client could potentially pay for an item that's just reported on 2 bureaus or 1 bureau, right? Or all 3 bureaux. We got to look at all 3 credit reports. And of course, if an item is not removed, then the client does not pay for the service. And then the client has the option to cancel once they reach their goal. So 50% of our clients decide to continue with the service after they purchase the home. And then some just want to buy a home and quit, which that's okay with us because originally they didn't come to fix their credit. They came to buy a home, right? So we got to be honest and look at the facts that, we got to stop at some time because once they reach their goal, they're happy, right? We're not going to drag this on for a long time. All right. The next step is the key points to take away is that we keep our client's best interest, and that's how we get paid, right? Our best interest is to get the items removed so they can purchase a home. That's how we get paid. It's very simple. It's very basic. We don't take clients we know we can't produce results. So after we look at the report, there's some times where we're going to turn down your clients. Sometimes we fire them too, right? We got to be in control. We got to really make sure that we're not dealing with those nightmare clients, blaming us for some of their actions. For example, if they are in the middle of the process and they make a late payment on their credit card or car, we got to fire them. The deal's done. We can't help them fix their credit if they just made a late payment on their credit card or on the car payment. If they're currently late, we can't fix something that they're currently late on. They just have to catch up on their bills, plain and simple. So there's just some obvious reasons of why we can't take clients or why we fire them at the same time. And then we can return your clients a lot faster because we can produce the results that they're looking for, right? They're looking for results every single day. And then we make sure that your referral goes back to you, right? A lot of agents, a lot of brokers feel that they're going to go somewhere else. Well, we have a proven system that we put together to make sure that once they're qualified, we want to make sure that you can keep track of them at all times as well. Hopefully you're getting a lot of information right now. You're taking some notes because this is something that is already working for others. So if you feel like you already have some clients, it's a pretty good time to start thinking about all the clients you've been talking to recently. All right, and then how do you send clients to us? Well, my direct email is rafael@fitbusinessfinance.com. Include your full contact information and company you're with. It's very important for us to have your full address, not just a name and a middle name or your nickname. Give us your full information, which we need your address, the company you're with, if you have a fax number, your email address, your website if you have one. This is all information that we're going to ask for you. We got to make sure that we have all the information to you so we can get in touch with you as well. And then once that happens, then we will create a private portal in our system where you can access your leads in one place. It's 24/7. So it's great where you can see what's going on with your last 3 leads, if they're active clients, if they're not active clients, what happened to them. That's something that we give that to you. And then what should you say to your leads, right? Your leads are the ones that you're going to be speaking with every single day. So we're not asking for you to just send out a name and number. We really want you to pre-screen these clients to make sure that, one, they're interested in the credit repair service and that they're going to follow through. And this is part of your responsibility as well as referring the clients over, because this can only work if we have a process in place. So you got to make sure that you're training them to let them know the process, that they're going to get a good faith estimate. Then they're going to get everything sent through DocuSign electronically. And once they fill it out, then we can get started, right? It's a very simple process. We've been doing it for a long time, but it doesn't work if you're just referring a name and number. So it's like throwing something on the wall and hoping it sticks. You got to create a system, which I can go through with you thoroughly, of what we've been implementing with other brokerages and how you can too. So hopefully you've been taking some notes. I've shared with you my proven system on how to do that. If your client does not have a copy of their credit report and you're not already working with a lender, you can send them to get a copy of their credit report for $1. $1, right? Everyone has $1. Go to FIT, and then have them create a login, password, and security question, and we can access that report from there. So If they want to work with us, we always have them sign up for credit monitoring, which will then put them in place where we get access to their monthly credit report until they reach their goal. So it's not a process that will happen overnight, but it is a process that works. It is a process that they can go back to you. And when the winter comes, as we're going right now into the fall, as the winter comes, you'll be able to deal with pre-qualified clients that you didn't have before. So hopefully some of this information can resonate with you and how it all works out. And really, it's been working out great for some of the other individuals. So if you feel that this is something that you could value from, if this is something, a system that you would like to put together or possibly have a strategy session with me, we can set up an appointment and go through it and thoroughly with you. If you have any further questions, that is my direct email. Again, just send me your information in the subject line. You're going to put real estate webinar, so I know that it's coming from today's call. And then right now, what I'm going to do is go into some of the credit questions you guys may have. I want to say thank you for being on here. And if you guys don't have any other questions, I will end this broadcast and say thank you for coming on today. We're going to be holding some more questions on Periscope. If you're not following me already, go to Periscope and download the app if you haven't done so already. And we usually ask or answer some of those questions. And of course, you can always hear some of our broadcasts live from iTunes, and the show is called Credit on Fire. All right, guys, hope you're having a great start to your month, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.